Bresnahan, James Worthy. We got Allie and Trudell down at the arena. Lakers with another huge win to end the month of March, their 50th of the season, 100th for head coach J.J. Redick. They are 15-2 in the month of March. They've won 13 of their last 14 games. Just an absolute dominant game for the Lakers. They got huge performances from a number of players, 6 guys in double figures. We're going to get to Luka's third straight 40-point game in a moment. LeBron becomes the winningest player of all time in the history of the league. But, James, this game was won for me in that second and third quarters. The Lakers scoring 78 points in those 2 quarters and absolutely blowing out the Cavs.
And that's what's impressed me the most over a period of time as we've watched the Lakers over the last several months, December, January. You know, they would build these deficits, and then they would have to spend a lot of energy trying to, come from behind. The new Laker mentality is you start from the beginning. And, have a defensive presence. And then if you run into a tight game, you can pour it on as they did in the second quarter. I think they're looking at the end of the second quarters and the third quarters to really, break games open. And I think they're doing a really good job of being consistent at that. But I thought, again, Ayton in the paint. Jake LaRavia, he didn't miss a shot. 5 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3. Had, I think, 7 rebounds. So they're getting good support from their role players. And then when Rui has to come off the bench, 14 points, then, of course, you got the 2, the trio that always do as they do. You can talk about them. But I thought it was an overall great process of the mind to get ready to play an important game against Cleveland.
James Geet, I've been around this franchise 22 years in one capacity or another. I cannot remember a March where the Lakers played this well, and they needed it too. Just a few weeks ago, we were like, gosh, are they going to finish 6th? Are they going to drop in the 7th maybe in that dreaded play-in tournament? And then they come up with a 15-2 record, as you mentioned, Geet, in the month of March. Incredible. And they're beating good people, too. Throw Cleveland on the stack next to 2 wins against Houston. They beat the Knicks. They beat Minnesota. They beat Denver. I mean, this was an amazing 31 days for this franchise. It could have really tripped them up. I mean, it really was, in my mind, a make-or-break month, and they made it. I mean, they're set up really nicely for 3rd in the West, and I'm really eager to see how they play Thursday at OKC. Obviously, the clear class of the West. Maybe San Antonio's not too far behind them, but I can't wait to see how that looks in OKC in 48 hours.
Thank you for your patience. We are going to get to Luka Doncic right now. His 7th 40-point game in his last 13. His 13th consecutive game with 30 or more as he continues to climb that ladder. The 3rd youngest player ever to 15K, 15,000 points, and the 2nd most points scored in the month of March ever. You see the fastest to 15K right there. He's the 6th to ever do it that quickly, the 3rd youngest. And I got to say, guys, 600 points in the month of March. Absolutely incredible performance. And for all of those out there in the media who want to talk about defense and all that stuff, Luka's playing a complete game or you're not watching. The 3 ball is falling. Another couple of steals tonight, James. Absolutely magnificent.
Really impressed with his defense after all that offense. And you look at that list of players that he just joined, and they all have something unique about them. Wilt Chamberlain, obviously, 7-footer. The Big Dipper, Kareem, the Sky Hook, Elgin Baylor, he did everything. Michael Jordan, and then Luka joins that list of dominant players. And the way he does it is just as unique as the guys on that list. He has a style of his own. You can't speed him up. It doesn't look like he's really working hard to get plus 40 points 3 times in a row. It just happens. Before you know it, he's got a shot, he's open, he's at the foul line. But there you go, most points scored in the month of March in a single season.
In big game. If he would have been able to play, allowed to play against the Wizards, he probably would have gone for 80. He would have been ahead of Michael Jordan. And by the way, can I just interject and say he had 12 assists. He was 10 for 10 from the free throw line and 5 rebounds.
Crazy.
And no turnovers. How about that?
Wow.
That's a good ratio right there. 12 to 0. That's not nothing. I mean, look, only 10 guys ever have scored that many points in a month, and it's just incredible to watch what he's doing right now. And I think the three ball is really, really his champion right now. He didn't have confidence in it earlier in the season. It was frustrating him. You know, he was kind of like, well, I'm just going to keep shooting him. You know, the media was kind of poking around it a little bit, writing about it, asking him about it. The team wasn't playing great. I mean, they were playing good, but not, you know, not the level they are now. And James, once he starts getting that shot going, he finished the month over 40% from deep. I mean, that's just an incredible weapon to have, in addition to setting your teammates up. And Geet, the fun factor is here.
Yes.
He's having a great time. He just alluded to it in his walk-off interview with Mike Trudell. We're really enjoying playing for each other right now. And it shows on the court and in the standings, too.
Big Game, I know you're going to like to talk about this next guy because he was a focus for you, for all of us in the pregame show, and that's DeAndre Ayton. He deserves some flowers going up against Mobley, who went for 37 and 14. Jared Allen returning. You're talking about two great bigs over in the East. And DeAndre Ayton came out with a purpose, great energy. He had 18 points on 8 of 13. He had 9 rebounds, 6 of them offensive.
Yeah.
5 of those in the first half.
That was impressive. The 6 offensive rebounds with Gita. I think ever since he's had a meeting with himself, you know, a few weeks back, and really, you know, tried to define what it is he has to do every night. You know, he's been there for us on occasion. He's had some great, you know, some great results. But I think the last month or so, he's really conjured up something that we haven't seen, and that's being present every night for his team, being, you know, physical. I thought the game against Denver, I was really impressed how he had 1 block shot against Jokic and was really playing. And so they're starting to feed him, too. I think the more you feed him, the more reliable he gets. But blocking shots, offensive rebounds, being, you know, a threat in the paint, collapsing the defense. They're going to need him and Jackson Hayes if they're going anywhere.
James, who is he going up against tonight? You know, you've got Mobley, former Defensive Player of the Year. You've got Jared Allen, a very good player in his own right. And Ayton was better than both those guys tonight. You know, I know Allen scored well and shot well, only 4 rebounds, though.
Yep.
And Mobley, 6 points, a complete non-factor in this game tonight.
Jared Allen didn't score in the second half.
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean,
didn't play
he was
quarter.
incredible in the first half, of course. And so there's been these games where Ayton does this. There was a game quite a few months ago, back in November, where he was better than Wembanyama. Wembanyama fouled out in that one. And yet there's games like you were alluding to, James, where you've got him going up against Jokic in overtime of that game. He outplayed Jokic in that OT, really shoved him off balance on a couple of forays into the paint, blocked that one shot that you were just alluding to. So you can see this from Ayton, where he can play against the best in the game. What a great month for him as well. And Jackson Hayes, too. He didn't do much tonight because Ayton was so spectacular.
Quick shout out to Jake LaRavia, who got the start tonight with no Marcus Smart. He was perfect from the field, as James mentioned.
Nice.
2 for 2 from 3. Kind of broke out of that slump. 5 for 5. 14 points and a team high plus 23. And by the way, he has stayed the course the entire time, plays hard. He's been playing great defense. That's why he's in this rotation.
Donovan didn't get out to a good start. That wasn't by accident. I think the pressure, the physicality, the size that he's bringing to that position, he's honing in on being a defensive player for JJ. You can tell JJ's probably been talking to him, or Nate McMillan say, hey, lockdown defender, everything else will come. He has size, he has quickness, he's not afraid to stick his nose in there. I think he slowed Donovan down earlier, didn't give him anything easy, and that made it tough for him the entire night.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, 1 for 6 in the first half, 2 points. And we talk about the Lakers defense a lot. This entire season, we've talked about them a lot. The first 3 or 4 months, it was like, ooh, what's wrong with this defense? You know, they're bottom 10 in defensive rating. And now, James, when we do talk about the defense, it is in a very positive light, and deservedly so. I think Luka has really stepped up his defensive effort. Ayton, starting with that Denver game a few weeks ago, you know, it seemed like he was a little impatient with his role. And then that game happens, it's like, okay, we see you, DeAndre. And I feel like LeBron's playing great defense now. And this thing is really, really clicking. When you hold Mitchell and Mobley to 16 combined points, you're really doing something special. Those are two really gifted players right there.
Lakers have now won 4 in a row. They've won 13 and 14, 15 and 2 in March, and they picked up their 50th win. And this young coach, J.J. Redick, the first to do it since Phil Jackson in back-to-back seasons, 50 wins. Time to hear from the coach, J.J. Redick, brought to you by your Toyota dealers.
Kind of repeat what I asked you at halftime, but what was the biggest switch with like the switching defense in the second quarter, and how do you feel like that flipped the game or contributed towards it as you kind of went through the second and the third quarters?
Yeah, we just went to 15 and did a good job once those switches were made of being in our shifts, having a low man. Allen hit some shots early before we went to that against DA, and then scored, against some smaller guys. Some of them were tough shots, but then Mitchell wasn't shooting and Harden wasn't shooting. So, we were sort of willing to live with that and slowed them down in that second quarter, allowed us to build a lead. And then I thought just, for 3 quarters offensively, we did a great job of executing and did a great job of playing with multiple actions and really, making the right play, making the right pass. Fourth quarter, not going to talk about it, but.
JJ, you guys finished this month with, it was probably arguably the toughest stretch of schedule that you guys had all season, the best competition you guys had all season. I think you go 15 and 2. I guess big picture, what do you think changed most? Was it simply just being together in health, or was there an attitude shift or anything like that that you saw kind of as this team has become who it is now?
I think it was a confluence of things, starting with health. I think it's much easier when you have a consistent stretch of health to sort of not even buy in, but settle in to roles and minutes and rotations. We never found that throughout the season. Another big part of that was the second part of roles is just, guys really just embracing things. I think, Luka has had as good of a month as anybody that I can remember in modern NBA, at least since I've been part of it. Certainly LeBron has had those, Harden has had those, Steph has had those, but he just played phenomenally this month, and then everyone else just, had huge impacts. AR getting healthy, LeBron on both ends of the floor, DA and Jackson really just filling in and doing what they need to do to help this team win at a high level. Luke, Rui, their shooting, Jake and Smart, their defense, Bronny, Vando, Max, anytime those guys had to play, we had a good contribution from everyone to the group. I don't think I forgot anybody, did I, that was in the regular rotation?
JJ, just want to ask you about your upcoming game. What is it about the Thunder, the way they are right now, and the way they're sort of constructed right now with the guys coming back? What makes them lethal on the court, and what are the big picture keys you tell your team going into a game like that?
I haven't even started preparing for them. I do know that they're great on both sides of the ball. They're going to make you work for things defensively because of how physical they are. And then they just do a great job of driving. I mean, you really have to do your best to keep them out of the paint. You have to do your best to be square to the ball. Not allow Isaiah Joe to ghost out, and not allow Hartenstein and Holmgren to slip roll. I mean, they just are really good at what they do, and they've been doing that now for 5 years, and they know all the nuances, they know all the tricks, they all know the timing of everything. They're just a tough team to guard.
JJ, we've talked to you a lot this season about the role players finding their roles, but clearly over this month of March, it was the stars also finding their roles together. Can you tell us just something about that process that seemed to click? Is there anything that stands out? I know sometimes it's not just like one conversation or something like that. Was there anything early on this season that you seemed to feel a shift, and then it led to Luka, LeBron, and AR finding that harmony?
No, because we never had more than 2 or 3 games together. It's all the stuff that happened this month that we've all talked about.
Kind of to that point, a lot of times we talk about roles. I think we kind of focus more so offensively. What does LeBron make, I guess, his defensive role to you guys during this surge? And I guess, how could you compare it to what he was doing for you guys defensively around this time last year?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's been great on both sides of the ball. You know, I don't know what he's averaged during this stretch of games where we've gone now 16-2. But, you know, I'd imagine it's around 20 a game. I'd imagine it's around 8 rebounds. I'd imagine it's around 8 assists. He's just doing a little bit of everything at a super high level for us. And, you know, again, Luka may get headlines here and there, and AR may get a headline. And, you know, certainly our fives have had some games where they could be headliners. But really, it's been every single guy just contributing to winning, and you know, LeBron has led on that.
Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings. The Thunder, the opponent on Thursday, a 2-game lead over the Spurs. Remember, the Spurs hold the tiebreaker in that one. San Antonio comfortably in second. The Lakers with a big win, 2 games up on the Denver Nuggets, which is huge because they own the tiebreaker as well. And the Lakers with 6 games remaining.
So they're really up 3 on Denver if you factor in the tiebreaker. Lakers in really, really, really good shape, James. They hang on to 3rd place in the West.
They worked hard for it.
Yep. Impressive.
Who's going to be their first-round opponent is wild, too. Nuggets, Timberwolves, Rockets. Timberwolves and Rockets play each other. Rockets beat the Knicks tonight. It's going to be wild. All right, let's get to the highlights. Teams over 500. Wow. They're 50-26.
50 is what they had last season, too. They're already there.
Luka with 42, AR 19, LeBron 14, 5 and 6. 6 players in double figures. 54% from the field, 42% from 3. They take down the Cavs, get a little revenge on that game from earlier this year. Reminder, next up for the Lakers, it's a Thursday night showdown with the first place and defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Tip-off is in OKC. It's set for 6:30. The pregame coverage is Austin Reaves with Allie Clifton in the media. It's cold in there, James.
Yeah.
Austin, first, just starting with the game, starting especially with that second quarter, what changed for you guys that really opened this one up?
Just thought we stuck to the plan, played hard, and continued to compete.
What does a 15-2 month of March reflect of this squad right now and where you guys are?
We're in a good spot, playing for one another. Like I said, listening to the game plans that the coaches give us and going out and trying to, execute it the best we can. And like I said, sacrificing, for one another. The main goal is to win, and that's what we've been harping about. Chill. You can ask a question now.
You guys, the opportunities in this league, obviously, you take the game that's right in front of you, but the only team hotter than you guys right now is the Thunder, and that's the next team you play. Just how exciting of a game is this for this team right now with where everything's at to kind of get that test?
Very excited. Obviously, they're the defending champs, playing at a high level. Obviously, one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team, and we have an opportunity to go into OKC and battle them.
Big game. Little Access 360 on the Laker defense.
Yeah, defense was on point starting in that second quarter, Gita. I think this team has found some identity on the defensive end. So they played great defense that transferred over to the offensive end. We're going to take a look at what they did. I think they had 9 steals that converted to 17 points for the Lakers. As you see here, Allen on a miss or a nice block, and then they're out and running. Luke gets the ball, and he goes to the cup, nice little handoff to LeBron for an easy layup. Here, defense is outstanding. They made Harden pick the ball up. They were going into Allen again. This time you had 3 defenders swarm Allen. That jump hook wasn't as easy as the previous ones. Luka with a long pass up, and Jake throwing it down with the Statue of Liberty dunk. Quick hitters is what they got off of their good defense. Here's Harden going to the cup. Nice hands by Austin Reaves. And then again, Jake, recipient for an easy layup. Doing a good job with the deflections of hand. That time, Ayton on a smaller guard. This was the highlight right here. They get out.
Nope.
They get out of the way. LeBron is coming down on you, but yeah, their defense is really good, Geeter, and they're starting deflecting passes, get some steals, eliminating offensive rebounds, and that gets their fast break going, and they did a good job of it tonight.
I like Kareem putting nope on that little element there, Geet. That was good job.
By the way, Brez, with no Marcus Smart,
great point.
These last 5 games.
Yeah, I guess they didn't need him.
Kind of the glue and the leader of that defense.
Yeah, that's a great call. We talked about him a lot in the pregame show. He wasn't needed tonight. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, I'm going to say it again. 2 points in the first half, 1 for 6 shooting. That's just outstanding team defense. And he missed some looks, no doubt. But the Lakers, this defense, James, we were waiting almost all season for the defense to catch up to the offense. Offense has been great since day one almost. You know, they had that first month, no LeBron. Offense was looking good. LeBron comes back, offense still doing just fine. It was the defense that was really causing issues. They had that little thing where they couldn't beat the good teams. They were, you know, under 500 against teams over 500. And now that is obviously no longer a problem. They, as Rob Rory would say, they beat the brakes off the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. And that defense, once again, a huge part of this Lakers win streak this entire month.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch, and this team has really turned around both ends of the floor there in the month. Let's head back downtown. Luka Doncic speaking with the media.
Luka, so it ends up being 600 points in March for you, and it's like the most in a month, or the month of March, passing Kobe. But is it satisfying in the fact that it comes with almost all winning and just kind of the run that you guys have been on throughout?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you don't win, it doesn't really mean anything. So the run we've been on, I mean, it means a lot. So we got to just keep playing like that.
Luka, JJ, when we spoke with him, he really stressed that it's not just you or LeBron or Austin that have stepped up their play. It's been the entire group. What have you seen, I guess, as the biggest factor in how this team has really formed over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks?
I mean, yeah, definitely. It just can't be some guys, because some guys play good, and you know the rest don't. We don't win games. So everybody, I think, is playing great. Everybody that step on the floor, you know, give 100%, and we play for each other out there.
Luka, who's winning the dunk contest between you and Austin now?
Me.
We'll have to check.
Well, he got 3. I got 4. Bullshit.
Speaking to your teammates also, like Jake hasn't had the best shooting in the last month, but he's been really locked in on defense and stayed really gritty in some of those kind of possessions. So what does it mean to you to see him get some of those dunks, get some of those baskets today while keeping up that defensive performance?
Yeah, I mean, he was great today, but he's been playing great for us. You know, that's why I say, you know, sometimes you're not going to make shots, but you can impact the game, other things. So he's been doing that every game, so we really appreciate what he's doing for us.
Luka, so much of your success over the second half of the season have been really so many guys in the locker room, but the outside role that you and AR and LeBron have is big influence on this team. How do you think you guys figured it out to make you guys fit together and trickle down to everybody else?
I don't know how exactly, but you know, I think it was just, I mean, natural motion of the game. You know, we just figure out, I mean, how to play together. I think our ceiling is still higher than what we do now, but I think we all know basketball, a lot of basketball, so it's just very natural.
Hey, Luka. Obviously, you're getting a lot of MVP momentum right now. Another 40-point game is only adding to that. Wemby obviously recently stated his case for why he should win. Is that something you're interested in doing as well? And if so, what would your points be?
I mean, I never did that, so I'm not the one voting, so, you know, but I think I've been playing pretty good. We've been winning, so that's it. That's all I got to say.
Luka, it seems like, over here, it seems like you kind of take the art of trash talking very seriously, and there's like an extra level of motivation that comes in when you get that. You know, is that something that you take pride in, or is that something that you think kind of adds to an extra level of your game? Does it turn like up an extra motivation for you?
I mean, sometimes definitely, but I don't take pride in it. But sometimes it's going to happen for sure. It happens on every basketball court. So, you know, sometimes it just fires me up.
Hey, Luka, the Cavs came in as one of the best offensive teams in the league. How are you guys able to slow down their backcourt in Harden and Mitchell?
It was very tough. We know both are amazing players. But I think we did a great job, you know, communicating, getting them to shoot tough shots instead of just layups and open threes. So I think we did a great job there.
So there's Luka addressing the media, 13 straight games with 30 points or more. And I liked what he had to say about, you know, not wanting any self-promotion and, you know, advocating for himself when it comes to MVP. He just wants to play basketball. And big game really is just about winning games. And I loved what Trudell said to him. You're on this hot streak. You've had, you know, 7 40-point games in the last 13, but they're coming in wins. And that's really what matters. He's doing what the team needs of him and just playing his game.
And a lot of it is because of his play. And when you play the way he plays, put team first, all the individual stuff will come. I mean, I think he started playing defense, taking charges, getting other players involved when you know he can score whatever he wants. You know, not settling for the three all the time, getting downhill, getting some 5-footers, 8-footers. He's really just making it easy for himself and everybody else on the team, Dieter. And that's why I think he's in the conversation of MVP. He's just improved his game. Very dominant.
His last 7, he's averaging 42 points. I mean, it's incredible. Like the way he's playing, James. Here's the good news. He is clearly the 3rd choice in the MVP balloting. If you look at all the gambling establishments and some NBA ladder articles, and this is amazing, his last 7 games when you break it down there. So that's the good news. He's 3rd. The weird and bad news, James, is it's a distant 3rd. Like SGA is favored to win it, and not too far behind him is Wembanyama, and then pretty far behind those two is Luka. So, I mean, I feel like Luka had a very interesting quote the other day. It was after the Nets game, Geet, and he was asked by a Spanish-speaking reporter in Spanish about the MVP balloting, and Luka said, you know, the more I win, the more we seem to slip. I seem to slip in the MVP voting. And so you know he knows about it. You know he's reading about it. And he understands his place, according to experts and point spread makers, is 3rd. And to me, it just seems a little low. And it's too bad because SGA and Wembanyama are too far ahead of the Lakers in the standings, James. They're not going to catch them. If the Lakers managed to catch one of those teams, it would be a completely different story. But I just know how voters vote. They look at team record first, and then best player on those teams, James. I mean, it's kind of too bad.
And listen, it would mean a lot to him, obviously, individual accolades, especially something like an MVP is something no one can ever take away from you. But an NBA championship, as James knows, is really what I think Luka wants. And that's his goal. But, yeah, Breslin, you don't want to take anything away from SGA and Wemby and Jokic and all these guys are having phenomenal years. But Luka is absolutely, we said this in the beginning of the year, if he is in the conversation, which he is, then the Lakers are having a great season. And that they are, 50-26.
To be honest, I think just our chemistry is getting better, like off the court and on the court. And I think you can see it in just the way we're playing together offensively. And then obviously defense, I think, is probably the biggest growth for us, just as far as being able to collectively play a full game of team defense and, down the stretch being able to get stops and trust your backside help and whatever it is. I just think we've been, doing a good job at that.
JJ credited your ability to contain the basketball yesterday when I asked him about it. What steps have you you feel like you've taken post All-Star break to kind of take that extra step defensively down this March stretch?
I feel like I've been defending all year. I don't know. I really don't know what I mean, I just play hard, try and keep the ball in front of me. Knowing the other players' tendencies helps. Being physical, using my hands, trying to get steals and deflections. But really just trying to be physical, I think, is the biggest thing.
Okay, was the turning point with the chemistry, or was it just when everyone's healthy and everyone's playing, that's how it happens?
I think it's just been getting better and better. Obviously, earlier on, we did have some new players, and that was like, Luka's time here last year was like he, just got here and whatever. So I think it's just been growing. It's been getting better, again, on and off the court. So it's been good to see that, because it's obviously been helping in the way that we've been playing on the court.
You guys have obviously faced elite opponents here in the month of March, but do you look at a game like Thursday as a measurement, or just to see where you guys are right now?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like we've been in a couple playoff games here recently. This is obviously going to be another one, best team in the West. So it's going to be a good test for us as we're